Hey, Crawlspacers, welcome to our ASM review show. Let's introduce who we have on the panel this time around. We have, what box am I going to pick? What box am I going to pick? I'll start with Mike. What's going on, Mike? And I picked the box with no audio. No, Mike, you're muted. Let me unmute you. You're muted. Try it again, Mike. All right, we're going to go back to Mike later. After he unmutes, we're going to go to JR. JR, is your mic unmuted?
I think so. Did you?
Yes.
I was wondering if you were going to choose Paul Lynde in the center square there, but that
is a reference from Hollywood Squares from the 70s. Half the audience is not alive.
Boy, I can't wait to get through all this hero Norman Osborn stuff and get to the real thing. Another exciting symbiote crossover.
You've been wanting to do that since Maximum Carnage, haven't you? You've been wanting another follow-up.
Oh, yeah. I've just wanted more reckless and ruthless symbiote on symbiote action.
You know what's nice, JR? When we record this when the sun is still up, you're no longer green. Look at there's color and the complexion in your face. There's a window coming through with light shining upon you, JR, and all your green in the background showing up. You're not green. Look at that.
But don't worry. It'll go away in about an hour.
And you're hanging Spider-Man in a noose over your shoulder.
Still there.
Yep. All right, we're going to try Mike again. Let's see if Mike is here with the mic. Mike, are you there? He's not there.
I am still
there he is. There he is. There he is. What's going on, Mike?
Well, not too much. Just basically enjoying our nice little weather here. Well, for the most part. Hopefully we can get into some good, being relative term, about what's really going on with Spider-Man, or should we say Spider-Norman now? Because I guess in this case we're wrapping that up finally.
By the way, Mike had a good theory in chat last night on the live streams. What is Aunt May's secret?
So
we were discussing that Aunt May's secret might be that she shot Uncle Ben. Is that what we were discussing?
That was somebody else actually mentioned that.
Oh, I thought that was you. You're my Nostradamus.
Somebody mentioned that in the chat. That basically saying that because there's a big family secret that's supposed to be coming up and come in the lead up to issue 1000, and it has something to do with potentially something like there's a talk that Peter and Aunt May are going to have another one. And so the theory is, so there's supposed to be some kind of secret that's going to be family secret that's going to be revealed. And of course, the speculation is, what could it possibly be? Some people are saying, is Trouble going to be canon now? Or is it some other thing involving Uncle Ben or something like that? So one person on the chat came up with an interesting idea that's saying, hey, what if during the night that Uncle Ben was killed, that in the struggle that when the burglar broke into their house and there was a struggle, what if Aunt May, not the burglar, accidentally shot Uncle Ben when trying to shoot the burglar?
It's a theory. I mean, that's worthy of 1,000 issues, I guess, maybe.
Granted, you kind of wonder, well, how come the cops, if that's true, how come the cops never picked up on it, like with ballistics and all this other stuff? And what did Anna help?
Where's Olivia Benson when you need her for Law and Order MCU?
Right. Did Anna somehow is doctor the evidence or something? But yeah, no, there's somebody came up with that idea. It's like, okay, it's a little too Spider-Man 3, but okay, we can see. We'll run with it.
Well, we'll figure it out. We also
I came up with
We also have Josh on the line. What's going on, Josh?
Hey, it's been a minute since I've done some comic reviews. Had to catch up on a little bit, so I have a gist of what's happening, and I didn't miss much.
I was going to say, missed some stuff, not a whole lot.
I mean, I missed a lot, but I didn't miss much.
What'd you think? Right. Well, we'll find out in Patreon, but Torn wasn't that bad, was it, James? Michael?
No, it wasn't that bad.
Torn was pretty good.
Weird, but it wasn't that bad.
It was pretty good. All right, we also have Christina. What's going on, Christina?
Oh, not much. Same old, so.
Internet's working? You said that it's day 2 of the internet working?
So far.
Good. I don't want to jinx it. it.
Too late.
Well, Christina, are you there? I'm just kidding. No. Also, we're going to be talking about symbiotes in this ASM review show. And the biggest symbiote fan I know is Tyler. What's going on, Tyler?
Hey. I brought another way too expensive figure.
Let's see. Oh, is that? What is that?
It's an Agent Venom.
The Hot Toys Agent Venom. This is over 300 USD.
Oh, $300 for that thing? My God. Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Too bad Tyler is broadcasting from a box in an alley because the rent is less than that. No, man. Anyway, I'm glad you like that. That's a good looking figure. Have you seen the? I know you're too young for this, but the amazing the Spider-Man 77, the Nicholas Hammond hot toy looks really cool. It's sold out within like.
I have the Marvel Legend of the Nicholas Hammond, so
I do too. Yeah. It looks really cool. All right. That's good, Vinkman. Don't Angelica jinx it. I get that. Amazing Friends reference. Very nice. Mm-hmm. Mr. Comics in chat says Operation Big Rick was success. I got it in the letters pages. Even Marvel used the words Big Rick.
Nice job. Nice job.
Good job, Mr. Comics. It's catching on. All right. We are leading. Who's on the cover? It's Norman Osborn. And who should talk about a Norman Osborn cover than our biggest Goblin fan I know, JR. So take me through our friend Norman. What is he doing? What is it, 985?
Well, the last issue ended with our hero, Norman Osborn, suffering from impalement from a goblin slayer. Oh, how is he ever going to survive this? He's never survived being impaled before. But anyway, while he's laying there delusional and racked with pain, he hears the voice of the Green Goblin taunting him, saying that only family matters. Anyway, he's surrounded by the Spider wannabes and Captain Nutsack in the ultimate battle with the Hobgoblin and the minions of Electo, who are controlling the Goblin Slayers remotely.
By the way, look at this poor guy at the bottom down here. My goodness.
Yeah, I think
that's Urich, isn't it?
Phil Urich, yeah.
Oh, is that
not Ben Urich, Phil Urich, yeah.
Phil Urich. Oh, is that who's supposed to be? Okay.
It's I was about to say that was really dumb bringing that character back and turning the Goblin formula into almost like a get out of death free card. Like instead of healing or whatever, it raises the dead. But that's another story. But anyway, the minions now, because if you remember, Electo walked out on them. Oh fuck.
What? JR, 8 minutes in, you're dropping an F-bomb. Control yourself.
Hang on a second. I gotta. I really have to go, guys. I really have to go. I don't know how we're gonna do this.
Are you able to come back, or?
Yeah, I'm coming back, but I've got to step away for a few minutes.
Okay. Step away, and then we will talk amongst ourselves with chat. All right. All right, chat. Ask us anything. What would you like to know? We got Multi Don Carlos says, "Hey, Brad in the crawl space." Jeff Cole 8994. I agree. Laura, I hope everything's okay with JR.
Oh yeah.
You know what? I was going to do this next episode, but I'll do it now since we've got time.
Okay.
Marvel sent over a preview of the issue that comes out this Wednesday, and we can take a look at it. I've got ASM number 989. Let's take a look. I'm going to stop screen, and then we're going to share. I'm not inviting guests. I'm sharing screen. Okay.
Yep.
So here is a preview of issue part 5 of 9, issue 25, 989.
And already the cover's a lie.
Why is it a lie?
Because, spoiler alert, you're going to see one of those people. It's not a 3-on-1 fight.
Yeah.
Carnage goes over to Spiral, doesn't he?
Yes.
What is that guy's name? Spiral? Is that his name?
Torment.
Not Spiral. My bad. Okay, so you're right. It is a lie.
Yeah.
Spider-Man says he hit me like a baseball bat between the eyes. We played right into his goopy, grubby hands. Peter Parker, Mary Jane Watson, Venom. And so, yeah. So
look, I get that it's stylized, but how is Eddie fitting in that tiny, skinny body? Eddie is a freaking linebacker, and you see his head in the back of Carnage.
Oh yeah.
So how is that massive bodybuilder Eddie Brock fitting in skinny old Carnage there?
Unless
Yeah,
that Carnage is very,
Like-
very big, and you're just like it's a very
Yeah, how are the legs? Yeah,
I don't
like
Yeah, scroll the next page. Like that's not a big Carnage.
know.
that isn't. Well, it's the same theory of how Mary Jane is smaller than that.
Well, that makes
Well, that
sense
will
because she's
make
just like
sense,
a
though,
piloting
yeah.
a symbiote mech instead of
yeah.
Eddie Brock. He's just shrunk down inside of Carnage.
So,
Mhm.
here's some more pages. You got Carnage versus Venom over here, and Mary Jane's just peeking
Mary
through
Jane's
the
always
boob,
poked
a
out.
boob, evidently, right over here on a peck.
God.
Peck right there. And so, Tyler, why does Torment want these shocker blasters? What's your theory, sir?
I mean, it's to fight symbiotes. That's literally it because he knows.
Ah.
That, I mean, at least at that point, he knows Venom is Mary Jane and he knows Carnage is Eddie. So he knows he's
Mhm.
going to need anti-symbiote powers for 2 of his 3 spirals.
Yeah.
Shocker's the guy with vibrations, good vibrations.
And what do you think of the design of Torment? It looks like a ripped thong.
I guess that is. Leave
looks
it up
like
to Brad.
panties.
To
It looks
go,
like
go to
looks like
underwear.
panties wrapped around him, doesn't it?
I guess that's one interpretation.
I mean,
I mean,
Okay.
now I can't unsee it. Thanks.
I know. Once I
So, okay.
okay,
Um,
you got to admit the artwork's looking pretty good, though.
I mean, yeah, nothing wrong with the. It's great
Mhm.
artists like throughout the whole thing so far. All
Right.
3 parts.
mm-hmm.
Anyway, this is part. What is it? Part 5 of 9. So
Five,
looks-
five,
didn't
five, yeah.
ASM just come out last week? Is this
Something like
Yes.
that. Yeah, but you got to remember.
Yeah,
I
and
think
so this
part-
one's this week.
But I think part of it is too is because you can kind of tell that the ASM that came out last week for part, I think was it 4 or something like that. I think
Yeah.
that was kind of intended to be that was intended to be like part of the Carnage series because it's still it was the creative team on that, and
Yeah.
so yeah, and so but since the Carnage series got canceled, they're like, oh, we'll just move it into the ASM.
Yeah.
and just,
It's very much an Eddie Brock Carnage issue, and then with
Mhm.
like one panel of ASM thrown in, 1 or 2 pages of ASM plot line in there.
right,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, which is
I
fine.
wondered.
Yeah.
I wondered that you even have the artist that was on Carnage
Yep.
doing the pencils for that Death Spiral.
Mhm.
Oh, JR's back. JR's back.
Yeah,
JR, man.
Sorry.
You okay?
Yeah, everything's fine. Just a little, taking care of things. So,
No problem.
alrighty.
Let me get the cover back up. We took a look at the issue coming out this coming week while you were gone. So, all right, let me stop screen and then I'm gonna pop up the Norman cover that we had. All right. Take 2, JR. We were talking about the Goblin
Yes.
laughing at him.
Yes. Norman is being taunted by the voice of the Green Goblin. Well, I've already done my Captain Nutsack joke, so I won't do it again. Anyway, the Spider wannabes are all fighting all the Goblin Slayers, and then the minions of Electo, who are controlling the Goblin Slayers remotely, and they're getting their digs in on Norman too, taunting him by saying, "Oh, all these children are going to die, and it's all going to be your fault, and you don't give a rat's because you only care about yourself." Which, considering the old Norman Osborn, that's entirely true. And meanwhile, Roderick Kingsley, the Hobgoblin, is waiting in the wings to do something. We'll find out later what it is. Anyway, Norman suddenly has a plan. He knows that Miles Morales, in a power set unique to him, can generate bioenergy. So Norman devises a plan where he can, he disables Oscorp security by his passcode. It ain't easy being green. And he decides to use Miles's bioenergy to basically, and I don't know, I mean, I do not read the Miles Morales Spider-Man comics, so I don't know quite how his power set works. But Osborn is able to blow up, I guess, the impact of the bioshock and fry the Goblin Slayers, and as well as provide some pretty nasty feedback to the minions who are remote controlling them. Miles was afraid to do this because the sheer power of it would pretty well knock him out and everybody else. But, desperate times call for desperate measures. Anyway, it turns out to be successful. And all the spider wannabes are down, leaving Norman with being the last man standing with one last mission. Now that he's got the goblin slayers are down, he has to go save his grandchildren because, as you know, they were targeted in our last issue by the minions. In fact, a fact that caused the leader Electo, and again that name's going to mean something, and who Electo is going to mean something as well later on. So remember that.
See, it just sounds to me like you're mispronouncing Electro every single time.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it's literally Electro with an A in the front of it, pretty much.
Yeah, Electo without without an R. So, but anyway, there's an answer to that later on, because that was a clue to who the character really is. And I didn't realize it until it was like at the end, and then I said, I thought something, Googled it, and then found it. But anyway, okay, so Norman's on a desperate mission to save his grandchildren. So meanwhile, we divert to the hospital where all the carnage from the attack on Oscorp is coming in. And, Dr. Weird-Ass Name, who's the president of Rand Without Danny Corporation, is talking with her troublesome son just to... and also gives us a clue that she might actually be worried about Norman. That she finds out that an attack is going on at Oscorp. Another thing that leads me
look at this guy, JR. He's in bad shape.
Yeah, he is really. And the cops look pretty stunned too. They look like they've been scared out of their wits.
Man, that guy lost his face,
and his legs, and his arms.
That's funny because we were talking in our show yesterday because we were talking about upcoming issues and talking about the Superman Spider-Man crossover. And I was thinking, I didn't have a chance to bring it up, but I was thinking about Gil Kane's art in that original one from the 70s, when we look over just how we were marveling at the detail of the art and just everything. And then when you look at something like this, where everybody kind of not in the immediate frame of reference becomes blobs.
I know.
Kind of made me think of that striking artwork.
But Gil Kane stuff, you could have zoomed in like I just did, and you still would have had detail.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
In fact, I know what was reminding me of the Gil Kane art was the first scenes of the trailer, the brand new day trailer. Remember when he was kind of jumping around and took a deep dive into the city? It kind of reminded me of that. There's a scene where I think Spider-Man is following her up in the air and New York is blowing. But anyway, I digress. So we've had this interlude to the hospital, and
back at Liz Allen's place.
With Ms. Weird-Ass Name is because what's happened, she's at the hospital because Brian, Peter's best friend from middle school, who we hadn't heard of in 60 years, he got blown up by some fearsome fungi, and he's going to turn into as we see
the
later,
Mushroom Man.
He's going to be turned into a two-legged fungi later on. And we find out that, like I said, the doctor's a little worried about Norman now. So just one of those things that makes me think that Norman is not going to become the Green Goblin again in issue 1000. And because I just kind of see all these threads that are being, or all these seeds that are being laid for the post 1000 issue. I could be wrong. I'm not the Nostradamus that Mike is. So,
that's him right there.
That's him.
Yeah.
So anyway, the Hobgoblin is hovering above Liz Allen's house, and Normie and Stanley are, playing just, without a care in the world like children do. But Liz, since getting a frantic phone call asking if she's got her security around and is everybody okay, she figures out something's wrong. And of course, her first inclination is to blame Norman for doing something. I don't know why that is, but anyway. So, our hero Norman Osborn to the rescue on one of those little birdies that was flying around that he got control of. And so he decides to engage mano a mano with the Hobgoblin. Anyway, so Anyway, he
Real
says,
quick, Jr.
Yeah.
When was the last time these two fought?
Well,
I don't think they've ever fought as in a Green Goblin suit and a Hobgoblin suit. I don't think that's ever happened, has it?
I don't think it has either. I was going to reference that a little bit later, though. So this is the first battle where they really go at each other's throats. So basically, and then Norman is thinking, I can no longer pretend to be Spider-Man. I cannot. What am I? Oh, I cannot escape the Green Goblin. And he keeps hearing the Goblin's voice. He's damaged your legacy, set fire to your house, threatened your family, use his pain and anger, and do with it as you were taught. Give worse than you received. Kill this cockroach and do not let it happen again. Anyway.
Kill this cockroach and capture it.
So basically then Norman, even though Norman is battered and bruised and impaled and beaten and busted up and everything, he pummels Kingsley's ass. And he grabs the goblin sword and he's about ready to commit the coup de grace. But then decides not to. He chooses not to be a bad man today.
Look at that.
Realizing that he is a bad man who chooses to be a better man. Anyway, of course, Kingsley in the tradition of villains who just, for whatever reason, and I was remembering a scene in a recent Tommy Lee Jones movie when he's got a gun pointed at a guy. He's already blown his legs off, and the guy is still smart-mouthing him. It's like, why don't you guys just learn to shut up when you've been beaten within an inch of your life? But they just can't do it. So Kingsley says,
I don't care. I didn't kill my wife. I don't care. I was like that Tommy Lee Jones line.
What was that?
From The Fugitive, Harrison Ford says to Tommy Lee, I didn't kill my wife. I don't care.
Oh, well, yeah. I was referencing, I don't remember the name of the movie, but he was trying to buy his son out of a drug debt or whatever, and the drug dealer said,
yeah.
And, I mean, I got this money, and, he's just this frail, pitiful old man. And then the guy, then other guys start drawing their guns and he takes them all out. So he's got this guy facing down the barrel of a gun, 2 bullet holes in him already, and he still decides to backtalk Tommy Lee Jones. It's like, well, you're just too stupid to live. So so anyway, Kingsley is like, oh boy, you don't know what's coming next, Norman. You thought I was in control? No, there's the mastermind over there.
It's your ex.
And it turns out to be Norman's ex-wife, Emily. Now, I know what it's like when your wife is your deadliest foe. So, Josh, take notes. But anyway, she wants to know her prior. She wants to know if the grandchildren are all right.
There she is.
The shock of finding out that the mastermind behind all of this grief over the last several months was his ex-wife, and the physical pain he's endured. Norman drops flat. Anyway, so now
I forgive you.
Yeah, right.
Awkward.
Yeah. I guess this is true supervillain bantering. I mean, I guess Kingsley's, when you got your ass kicked, I guess you just kind of enjoy any little victory you can get, and seeing Osborn ultimately kind of get, kind of have his defeat, or kind of have Norman have his victory somewhat snatched from him, I guess, is given Kingsley enough amusement to get his ass up and out of there. Mm-hmm. But anyway, as far as Emily and the name she used, Electo, I mean, I didn't think about it at first. I thought, well, that's a weird name. But then, I thought, okay, that's got to mean something because it is such a weird name. So I looked it up. And Electo, if I'm pronouncing it right, is one of the Furies in Greek mythology. And I'm not a Greek mythology expert, so don't ask me what the Furies are or whatever. All right, but basically, Electo is a goddess who punishes those who commit terrible crimes, especially family betrayals.
Yep.
Ooh,
The
that's
ancient
good.
Greeks believed the Furies would chase after wrongdoers, making them feel guilty. So anyway, that was so the name did mean something.
I think the author looked that up on the same Wikipedia page.
Well, yeah, he probably did, or he probably knows a lot more about Greek mythology than I do.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and after all, I mean, superheroes are somewhat of a modern mythology, and you know, it's not surprising at all that they would borrow from other mythological tropes. So,
yeah.
Anyway, the epilogue wraps up with Norman telling us how it all went down. You know, kind of one of those like Kirk, Spock, and McCoy all sitting around the captain's chair, you know, kind of explaining just what went on in the last 58 minutes, you know. And so Norman explains, well, Hobgoblin and Emily disappeared. You know, I hope they live miserably ever after. And he's been able to spin the narrative that it was corporate terrorism and that he was just a weird old man playing Spider-Man trying to protect his grandchildren when shit hit the fan. But then Norman's got a visitor. And he sees the visitor and he explains, I really tried. And then he falls into Peter's arms for a hug. And Peter tells him, you did great. Not happy with that ending. C+.
Yep.
No.
Yep. Why you just hit us with a C+. Damn. Okay.
Nope.
Like I just got hit in the head with a report card. My gosh. Okay. C+.
I would give it a B, but I think I've already used that line yesterday.
Mike, what's your grade on this?
Yeah, I'm gonna give this also a C+ as well. I mean, yeah.
Tyler, what do you got?
I'll give it a C.
Christina?
I'm going to go a little higher. I'm going to go a B-.
Okay. Josh?
C.
Christina, you are the lone B. I'm giving it also a C. Not a C+, but a C.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was just average also. JR, give me pros. What do you got?
Well, I think the biggest pro has to be finally getting a battle between Osborn and Kingsley, even though Osborn is not the Green Goblin. I mean, it's still them, going against each other with their enhanced strength. And, and really, I think this demonstrates what I've always believed. I mean, even though they're energized by essentially the same formula, I've always believed that Norman's demons and anger, in any kind of face-to-face battle with someone like Kingsley, who's still rational, and in that case, his rationality would be a weakness, and that Osborn, all the things that are eating at Osborn's soul, would allow him to pretty easily put down Kingsley. But conversely, it's also that same mania that makes Norman sloppy and careless, and why sometimes he's not that hard to beat. So it's kind of so Norman is one of those people or whatever. It's a double-edged sword. He's got this great strength, but somehow his emotions overwhelm him sometime, and he winds up defeating himself. But I also think what this demonstrates too is just how strong Spider-Man really is, and why I just absolutely hate it when he keeps, having his strength downplayed, or people easily beating him, because Spider-Man, if Spider-Man wanted to kill Norman, he could easily have done so, and he already would have done so. There have been 2 times he's almost done it. So to me, the fact that Osborn takes out Kingsley fairly easily, but knowing that Peter, when he's really mad, can take out Osborn, shows how truly powerful Spider-Man is and how poorly written he is at times. But anyway, that battle, I think, was and then Norman's internal dialogue, going on. He's a man tormented by his past, but he pulls something out to win the battle.
JR, I just realized this year marks 30 years since Norman has returned, and Peter Parker 75. 1996 he came back. In 30 years, I don't think we've still had a Kingsley Hobgoblin battle where they're still in the suit. No. Why? That seems like low-hanging fruit for a fight. Why have we not seen them in their 2 suits? I just don't get it.
Well, I mean, I guess like anything else, I mean, we think it would be cool. We'd like to see it, but we're not the writers, we're not the editors, and they all have. I mean, after all, why would you set up a Green Goblin Hobgoblin fight when you can have another symbiote crossover to get to?
Also, does this not make? I didn't put this together. Has Norman been back longer than he's been dead?
Oh,
he died in 72.
Yeah. Yes, he has.
72 to 96. Yeah.
Yeah. He's and really it's his return is in a way when you think about it, it's kind of and this is one of the things that we all kind of get uptight over certain things in Spider-Man's history. But then when we think about just how, because I know a lot of people didn't like Norman coming back at all. Well, he was gone 20 something years, now he's back. That ruins everything. And it's like, but now it's been 30 years. The title is 60 years old. Mm-hmm. Next year, it's going to be 65 years old. And this was kind of a harsh reality that I kind of realized after a while that, when I was younger, writing my articles, I thought that, what I was saying really meant something. And I had real insight and everything like that. And, I couldn't imagine Spider-Man, going on without me, of course. He'd been such a part of my life. I was just going to go on forever, just like him. And now I realize that, no. And a lot of what I don't know, maybe even the marriage someday, maybe in 10 years when someone has some sense or whatever, and they'll retcon it or whatever, and then years will pass, and and then Ava and Spencer and whatever, when they're talking about the 100th anniversary of Spider-Man, will say, yeah, can you believe how upset those old guys got over the marriage being broken up? It's been back for 20 years, but no, anyway, so that's.
And this ranks as one of your all-time favorites, isn't it?
Oh, it's a classic. Well, I mean, Norman at his best, and John Romita Jr.'s art at its best. I mean, he's really at the top of his game here. And again, Howard Mackie, for all of his faults, did have a good, solid grip on Norman Osborn in the Green Goblin. He wrote him very well. Him and Garth Ennis and, Bendis even occasionally had a pretty good handle on Norman. So, but yeah, it's a classic issue because it's a balls to the walls fight between, two people who hate each other, to the very bitter end.
Yeah. Such a classic issue if you've not read it. Adjectiveless Spider-Man from 1990, issue number 75.
When Ben Reilly, as George
30 years old,
pointing out, when Ben Reilly turns into a flower.
Oh, yeah. We should do something for the 30th anniversary of Norman returning in October, November. What do you think of Spider History for that?
We'll play it by ear.
That's a
long.
All right.
That's a long.
All right.
Other way away as far as I'm concerned. We've got to get through issue 1000, and anyway, we got to get through the 20th anniversary of the podcast, Brad.
In August, we do. Yeah, we're going to have
That's right.
All right. So, other pros that JR has not mentioned. What do we got? Tyler, what do you got? What'd you like?
I mean, I like Stockman's art. Stockman's art I've always been pretty cool with, and so it's Stockman, right? Or am I thinking of?
Yeah, no, I think it was.
I thought it was Romita Jr.
No, it was partially. Yeah, but then you had you had the fill-in guy come in.
Yeah,
and
but that's Knock. I thought it was
Knock.
Knock.
Yeah, Todd Knock. Yeah, sorry.
Todd Knock. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Todd Knock mixed with John Romita Jr. So, Christina, what'd you like? You got the highest grade. What are you digging?
My personal favorite part of the issue that I think gave it to the B+. I really enjoyed the Hobgoblin and Norman going at it with each other in the neighborhood and stuff. So
it was a good fight. Fight. Mike, you got any pros before we go to cons with JR?
Yes. And I'm surprised the twist that it was actually Emily Osborn that was kind of the original mastermind behind this whole thing. Especially is appreciated because the fact that if you remember when she was brought back, and it was actually during, I think it was the tail end of the Dan Slott run. And nobody did anything with that even Dan Slott. It's just like, oh, it's just kind of like was just hanging there. And then at least props to Joe Kelly for at least, hey, remembering that she was still alive, and that we're going to use that as a means of as part of this thing. And it would make sense, because who else would have like grievance against Norman than, his ex-wife, who we kind of left, I guess, I don't know what the thing was, like left for dead or just abandoned or whatever. I don't know what the reason rationale was for why she was still alive again, but at least, you did something with it. Kudos. Good job.
Before we get to cons, let's read some chat here. We got a B- for Mr. Comics. Jeff gives it a C-. Multi Don Carlo gives it a C. So we've had Enigma says, so we've had Craven, Doc Ock, and Norman, who's had a turn to Spider-Man. Who's next? I say JR.
You forgot Chameleon. He's probably done it too. There was the original guy. He had the original.
You also forgot Josh. Josh has had a turn as Spider-Man.
I don't know. I say the Hypno Hustler would be the best bet.
Ah, yeah. Netta Dom says
Spidey.
grade 0 because I dropped the damn thing. C. B+ upon the horizon. JR was younger. Paul Jenkins had a great voice for Norman. Let's see. Missed opportunity. The spider suit is ripped. Norman could have thrown on his Green Goblin suit to take on Kingsley.
Yep, that's exactly.
I don't know. When you're racing to save your grandchildren, I don't think that
a wardrobe change.
Yeah, I don't think you stop for a wardrobe change.
I'm indifferent to MJ being Venom, but at least it's an improvement over here being Jackpot.
Very true.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Yeah. Because again,
Marvel needs a reboot. I think using King and Black Spider-Man would be the way to do it. I'm not digging it.
No, I do not think a reboot's the answer.
What was Trouble about? I always heard about the story was awful. We don't talk about that. It's like a Fight Club.
Look it up. Google it.
Okay.
It is. We don't talk about Trouble.
Oh no,
we don't talk about Trouble.
All I will say is it's supposed to be the real origin of Peter Parker. Let that sink in.
At least it was for a time.
I can't get that image of Aunt May holding a condom out of my.
No.
Remember that scene? God. Hey, Ben. Yeah. Jeez. God. Okay. I've read the first issue of Spider-Man Death Spiral. All right. We're going to review that on the next episode. We have 20 minutes to get through the next episode. JR, can we do cons? Hell.
Okay, I'll try to make it quickly, but actually I had to do two really, really big cons. I've never, ever liked the idea of Emily coming back. To me, her death is one of the canonical events in Norman Osborn's life. The one kind of his one thin dangling thread connection to his humanity. Her death as a result of Harry's birth is one of the deep reasons that Norman has always had a troubled relationship with Harry, and it also serves as a primary difference between Norman Osborn and Peter Parker. Peter used personal tragedy to take a stand and say no one is going to get hurt again. I'm not going to let this happen again. Norman uses his personal tragedy, to take exact revenge on the world for denying him what he think he deserved. So, if this is one of the things, I'm not big for retcons. I don't like retcons that much, but if I were editor, I would retcon this in a heartbeat. She would be a clone and I'd just get rid of her.
What's her motivation? Why does she hate him? What? I mean,
he's Norman Osborn.
Well, he's a monster.
But what did she do? What do you do to her?
Here's the thing. If you that miniseries that J.M.D. Mateus did, which I stole but despised.
The Torn, yeah.
Somebody like that is how somebody like Norman Osborn would behave in real life. He would be a controller. He would be, if he didn't physically abuse her, he would mentally abuse her. He would be a nasty SOB and a terrible husband and father. But, geez, we see enough of that in real life. It diminishes.
How evil he is. Yeah,
it diminishes his super villainy to make him just another, abusive asshole husband and father. So I mean, I didn't like that at all. And like I said, it's her death really is like one of the turning points in his life. And I think it should have changed. I mean, it would be like bringing Gwen back in a way, but yeah, she left him because he was a monster. You know, he was a violent, abusive, mean monster.
I mean, it just goes to show that Slott brought her back and didn't even do anything with her. And it's taken how long for anybody to do anything with her? Like, it was pointless in the first place.
What? It's been almost what? Has it been like more than 5 years?
5 years or so, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't give Slott ideas, he'll go do it.
Yeah. And the second one, since we want to get through this, the second con is Norman falling to Peter's arms at the end. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All that Norman has done to Peter, all that he's done.
Yep.
It is incomprehensible that Peter could ever forgive him. The best that they could do would be a handshake and a compliment. But there should always be this barrier. They are not friends. They will never be friends. You know, they will never completely trust each other. It's just, that's the way it is. Even if they're going to keep Norman a good guy for the next 250 issues, too much blood has been spilled. Too much water is under that bridge.
Yep.
This does not happen. And that was
makes the everyman hero unrelatable, because most of us would hold a grudge against someone that killed someone we love and has affected the family so much that you'd never forgive him.
Yeah, he's kidnapped May twice. He did the whole Clone Saga thing. I mean,
there's no way.
There's no way. I mean, and that's what I would say of Kelly's run, and even since this goes back to Zeb Wells's run.
Well, it even goes back to Spencer, since he kind of redeemed.
It goes back to Spencer,
that's right.
3 writers ago.
Just they've as actually well written as Norman has been, and I got to give Joe Kelly credit. I mean, after I thought we were going to get more 8 Deaths of Spider-Man, and I was ready to pack it in, but he seems to have we seem to be kind of on a backward incline, not necessarily steep one, but yeah, this is the Peter and Norman became acclimated to each other way too easily. It's an undeserved, unearned relationship.
Yeah,
on the horizon says that 2018 is when Emily was brought back.
Yeah,
really?
Years.
Yeah. I do think Spencer handled the good Norman and Peter thing a lot better. Where Peter was still pissed at him. He didn't just forgive him and get chummy. He was untrustworthy of him.
Yeah,
but I think Peter at this point, he should be glad that Norman is trying to be good, but wrestling with his past feelings and like being uncomfortable with the idea of him in his costume. Even it's just I'd be okay with a Peter who's wary of that, but appreciating that he's trying to do better.
All right. Unless anybody's got any cons, we need to proceed to the next one. You got one, Christina? Go ahead.
One thing really quick. What happened to the other goblins that were captured, like the Goblin Queen? The Queen Goblin, Phil Urich. What happened to all of them?
Good question. We don't know.
Anyway.
I think you're the only one that noticed and cared. I don't know.
I mean, it's kind of like what happened. Why didn't Emily and Kingsley did not try to kill Norman when he was like unconscious? At that point, they just kind of
because the plot demanded it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, I would say this: it would be a hollow victory. I mean, the guy's completely out, and you can't. What's the point of killing him if he can't see it coming?
Probably, yeah.
But it is.
Here we go.
Yeah,
it is. Yep. Okay, Josh, you've got this next one. We're wrapping up the Space Spidey story here.
Oh yeah. Okay. I know we're on limited time, so I'm going to do this very quickly.
Okay.
Long story short, Peter comes back from space.
Real quick, look how many people it took to make this issue. My God.
Yep.
Good Lord.
Sorry.
Look at that.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah. Gosh. Anyway, so Peter comes back from space. Rocket says, your humans suck, but you suck less. I'll miss you. And Peter comes back to space with 3 other companions, I guess. So we have, what's her name? Raycliffe or something?
Mountain Dew chick.
Raycliffe.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, right.
So
Glitch and Simbi. So anyways, somewhere as they're traveling, Peter's suit goes from a excuse for an extra toy to just a generic superhero costume. which at this part he calls to May, despite still being in something that no one normal would wear. And he can't find her. And so he starts panicking, like, we got to go find her right away. And Rayla
and
starts...
Simbi gets horny? What? 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 I'm back on Earth and what?
He gets devilish and Simbi wants to eat a pigeon.
What the heck?
We got to get this guy in a cartoon, Brad, all right?
Yeah.
I guess so. Oh, go get him, Simbi. Go get him.
So Peter comes to join them on the roof, and he's like, I don't know where she is. We have to look across town. And Glitch is, I cannot imagine anything else that I would rather do. So they all go flying off. And Peter realizes...
What's he doing now? It's like a Muppet baby. What is he doing? Jeez.
No wonder you like him so much.
I hate that guy. Oh, well, that's true. If it was a Muppet baby, I'd like it better.
So Peter realizes that this probably has something to do with Ben. Ben left him a note. And so before reading the rest of it, he quickly goes and changes and goes to find Ben as Simbi plays the camera. Okay,
real quick, Josh, can we read this note? Because I don't understand Ben Reilly's motivation. Evidently, it was in this letter that we didn't get to read.
Yes, so we do read the letter later on during their fight.
Okay, I guess.
But first we cut to Maria here, and she has a annoying Caillou son. I'll be honest, I don't really understand what's happening here much.
Oh, I can interpret.
I know too.
This is Captain Pottery. Her son is Captain Pottery.
Yep.
Iron
yes,
Man.
he is. Yep.
Oh.
And how he got his powers, he ate a bowl of Captain Crack.
Sure.
Oh gosh.
He mixed it with all these meds and Captain Crack, and that's how he got his powers, evidently.
All right, so they have a really bad
jeez.
mother-son relationship. Yeah, she's just popping pills and suffering in silence.
Yep.
God dang.
He's just,
Well, I mean, he's dying of cancer. Geez.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
yes,
Right.
but anywho, so we cut to a really not nice at all part of New York where Ben and this is Janine.
Janine, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're talking about they're gonna get a new place and all that, and all of a sudden Ben's like, "Oh crap, he's back, my brother!" And Spider-Man crashes in, and this is where we get the whole note here. So the note basically says, Ben is like, "Oh, hey, so I figured I might as well step into your life since you're gone and keep up, appearances for you there. And I won't do anything too stupid, but, have fun dealing with that when you're back." So anywho, for some reason, Norman Osborn is Spider-Man, not me. Ouch. Anyways, I always thought I missed something from not being you. And I've been you, and your life sucks, Ben. So I'm going back to being me. As we're reading this list, that they're fighting. He's like, "What did you do with Aunt May? Where's Aunt May? Where has she been?" And Janine's had enough of this, so she decides to flash the robot old man.
Take this!
And it's a mask at the bottom of her shirt, so apparently that counts. And she turns.
She decides to flash the whole.
And so she turns into what Aunt May should look like at this point.
Hey, yo.
And, just howls at them. Enough. And so Peter actually listens to Jane because she's a redhead, and basically she just says he's fine. She's moved in with Ricardo and
Slick Rick.
Big Rick, Slick Rick.
Big Slick Rick.
So don't worry, everything's fine. He just kept up appearances, barely said anything. But Ben's like, "Yeah, I barely did anything. And if you think that my couple words would completely break your relationships, maybe you didn't have a strong enough relationship anyways." And right when Peter's going to snap back, in comes old man robot with Simbi and Ray, Ray is not doing well. She is being attacked by every virus in existence from Earth that she's just not accustomed to. So they got to get her to a hospital. And so we then cut to Norman Osborn, and he's been thinking a lot about mortality and youth, and so he'll gladly make himself available to Maria here. Then Peter has sent Ray the Glitch and Simbi over to the Baxter building and said for them to take care. And he says, "Oh yeah, if it accelerates your processing, wheat cakes." That was the code word. And I'm like, all right, I'll
Look at her. This is so gross. She's dripping Mountain Dew.
Yeah. And Simbi is pretending to be sick because he wants attention.
All right, cue up Slick Big Rick.
Yep. So Rick here is just yelling at Peter for, "How dare you come here? This is my house." And you know, I know people like you, and people like you suck. And what if she needs me? And anyways, long story short, he lets him in. Peter's
he's got an earring. I never noticed that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's like Mr. Clean. And anyways, Peter says hi to Aunt May, and he says, "Oh my gosh, when did you get hurt? I'm so sorry I wasn't here." And she goes, "There he is. Took your sweet time, didn't you? Welcome back, Peter. Welcome home. Next death spiral, all joy."
Okay.
Death spiral. Yep. Okay. Do we have anybody in the comment section? Do we have? Oh, Javi. Javi made it.
Yep.
Oh, Mr. Comics is here, and he says he put in the words Big Rick in here. Let's see.
Big Rick.
Yep, right there with her new boyfriend. Well, I like to call Big Rick. There we go. Yep.
I don't see it. Where am I? Oh, there it is. Big Rick.
There it is, right there.
You did it for it, Mr. Comics. You got Big Rick in the letters page. It's very funny. And the latest developments with May and Big Rick. Even
call him Big
Nick,
Rick.
even Nick Lowe is calling him Big Rick. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Okay. What do we got for a grade, Josh? What do you got, man?
Oh. Okay, I'll be generous with a C-.
Okay, Christina.
I'm going lower. I'm going a D.
Ooh.
Okay.
Tyler, what do you got?
Oh, sorry, I woke up.
This issue was bad, wasn't it?
Fair.
C-.
Okay. Mike, what do you got?
I'm going D- on this one.
Hey, JR, Janine wants to know, what's your grade?
Are we evaluating the story or her rack?
No.
Jeez.
Well, I mean, you show me that panel and say Janine wants to know what's your grade. I assume she's asking me. Anyway.
Okay, what's your
we don't
grade?
have time for this. I joined the chorus of D's.
I also think it's a D. It seems like for the last issue of Space, it sure was put together with duct tape and prayers.
Yeah.
Lot of substandard art, don't you think, Josh? I mean, like,
we're getting into pros now. So,
pros, yeah.
Honestly, the biggest pro for me is just how much they actually show Peter actually cares about his aunt in this.
Yes.
That it is what's saving this for me.
Yes.
You know, he's been gone for so long, and he's like, "Where's Aunt May?" I got 10-second panic, and then like I gotta find her, and like we'll do anything, and just like, all right, throw fists first, ask questions later. What the heck did you do, Ben? And everything. So like that part is nice. As far as the rest of it,
yeah,
it's there too.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it. I don't really have a ton of pros. That's a really big one for me. So,
did I get my grade? I also
gave it a D.
You gave it a D.
Yeah, I didn't
too.
care. I didn't care for it. Pros. What else we got? JR, you like anything about this one?
No.
I got something.
Mike?
Ben
Okay, go,
Riley
Mike.
at least telling Peter, like, hey, maybe you really need to fix your, that was the one line about this whole thing where he says, look, if all it took with me was not returning phone calls, maybe your relationships aren't as good as you thought they were. That's like fair, because the way Peter's been kind of acting in this whole thing, in this whole series for a while now, it's like that tracks. So
even after reading the note, I don't get his motivation. Why?
Yes.
Why not help out my big brother and keep Peter Parker alive?
Because he wanted to be, because I guess he was jealous, because it goes back to being jealous of the fact that Peter Parker had memories that he says he felt he reserved them. But then when he became Peter Parker, he's like realizing, oh, the grass really is not greener on the other side. Hey.
Yeah, he's basically like, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna just take off and leave. So basically, like I said before, when he decided to do that, it was a complete waste of time. for that whole plot line.
Mhm.
And just like the whole space thing turned out to be a whole big waste of time with that. Thing.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I've joked about that wow, I was just going right into the cons already. Basically basically that the whole plot line from this, if you, I'm sure you're Amazing Spider-Man Friends guy, Brad. You remember that one episode where Spider-Man, where Peter meets the girl from the 25th century, and they can't stay together
fly off in space.
Because she doesn't have the immune system, so she gets super sick.
Oh, right.
That's this plot with Rylith. Except at least that's what this whole thing is like that's the reason, and apparently that's the reason why we can't have her be in the books or whatever, because oh no, she's gonna get sick from Mountain Dew disease, or guess, but
blast. Yeah.
But yeah,
look out, Spider-Man. Code red Mountain Dew, code red. Okay, Tyler, pros, what you got? You like anything about it that's not been mentioned?
Did we mention art?
The Nick Bradshaw stuff's not bad.
No.
I think, who's the other artist on this? Let me look.
There was like 3 on here.
There was, yeah. You got Nick Bradshaw.
You got Nick Bradshaw, Todd Knock, and Nathan Stockman.
Some of like the latter half artists aren't as good, but I thought the first 2 were okay.
I thought Bradshaw. I think that's the order of who I like in their order. Stockman I like the least.
And then the other,
The art's fine. It wasn't absolutely sticking out a ton.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't make sense for your last chapter. This is the last issue of a trade. Aren't they always aiming for the trade? Like, is this going to be the thud of the last chapter, and the art is just slapped together with 3 artists?
Yes.
The last panel makes sense of like end the trade on Aunt May and Peter hugging.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
it's fairly obvious that this is the result of a bunch of storylines that were forced to come to a premature end.
Yep.
The Norman plot line sort of got a decent resolution, but as Christina's astute observation, probably what happened to the other goblins was left on the cutting room floor. That was probably going to be dealt with, but he couldn't do that. The Riley thing is underdeveloped. The space thing obviously was underdeveloped. I mean, this is just what happens when you have to trash everything because you got to go to another story. So.
They probably, Big Marvel decided that this was okay. We're doing the Venom event, the Death Spiral, and they're like, crap. Okay, quickly wrap up the story.
Yep.
And one pro that we didn't mention is Johnny Storm got hit by Mountain Dew right on the face. Like, why didn't they aim for the mustache?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
It looks like he's got a giant Cheeto up there.
Oh. Or actually, hey, but it will fit because it goes with the, you got your drinks. But anyway, no, I mean, just to go off the other point about, I think Joe Kelly recently gave an interview, I guess on, I think it was AITP podcast, what they do, where he was talking about his run and like what was coming up with Dead Spiral and everything else. And he kind of implied that while this storyline of his of having Peter in space and Norman be the Green Goblin was something that he pitched to Marvel, he was coming in right around the same time that they were already starting to work on Death Spiral. And so it's like kind of implied that, I do have to kind of cut it short. So, for that. So there's that. So there's kind of like, in it again, like everyone's saying, it does show in this because it feels like, we got to wrap everything up really quickly and everything. And it's like, although it's kind of sad that you kind of have to get 3 artists on this issue because apparently, I guess Pepe Rala is going to do it because he's too detailed oriented. So we have to get these guys in real quick. So, but
here's some grades from chat. We got a C. We got a B from Mr. Comics. C. Let's see. What else we got? We got a D from Jeff. Upon the Horizon says Norman's story was the best of the last few months.
Mm-hmm.
Neo, the 197 says Ben Reilly should have stayed dead.
Yep.
There's There's something to
Which
be
time?
said
He's
for that.
died like what 33 times
It's
now?
like Ben 27 or something.
Yeah, I think something like that. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Any other cons have not been mentioned, Josh, or anybody? Before we wrap it up.
Just doing a quick overview here. I just don't care.
Yeah.
I was about to say, yeah, just I have apathy.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely, absolutely.
you know, I had missed a few books, but I'm like, you know, going through this, I'm like, I don't really have a strong desire to go back and be like, oh, that's what the relationship is between Peter and Rayleigh and Glitch.
I also don't really care about these two. I don't care about either one of these characters.
Right.
Yeah, like
At all.
So, like, you know, this is, you know, it's ending different plot lines, and good. That's my pro. They're done. That part's done.
Done. There you go. All right, that is a wrap on this episode. We'll be back in just a few minutes, and we're going to tackle the Death Spiral storyline. So be watching us on our next feed. So thanks for watching us, everybody. We will be right back in just a few minutes.